Bro, is that mic turned on? Can you check if it's off or on? Band hai? It should work.
Maybe static. Devotees, there's some chairs here. You can come. Please come. Prabhu, open this space. There's few Matajas can come here.
This side,
Yeah. Prabhu, please come here.
Yeah.
Please.
no, they won't be able to see.
Ask her. No, you can see.
You can see?
Yeah, you can see. Devotees, there is not some space. Those who want to sit down, they can come here. Those who want to sit on the chair, they can sit. Matajas, you also can move forward. Little move forward. Ashna, sit up, move forward. We're all vegetarians. Will not bite anybody. And Prabhu, we are pure vegetarians.
Vegan.
They're Christian.
Try the mic. Go back little bit.
Something, we're getting static, Prabhu.
Reduce the sound from Let's reduce the sound.
Try now.
Oh, I don't think so.
He's saying try now. He's saying try now.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming for today's evening program. And then we have a special guest visiting from India. They are not new to this community, but however there are new people here. I'll introduce them. Before we do that, a little surprise. There's two birthday girls are here today. Some of you already know. So Mataj is planned in such a way that she will not be knowing. Do you know? So at least we can be successful because when she does, no one knows. When we do, she will know.
No, I guessed it somehow. Little bit I guessed.
Is it?
Because as soon as Karthik Prabhu called me and he said, can you come little early so to see everything is okay. So I came at 6:45, 6:30, 6:40 and I said, I'm leaving the bag and I said, I want to go downstairs to see if everything is okay. Margaret is like, why are you going downstairs? Why are you going downstairs? She said she'll go downstairs. So I said, why are you going downstairs? Why are you going downstairs? I said, okay, I'm not going downstairs.
Okay. So today is Brajabhakti's birthday and also Radhika Kishori Mataji's birthday. So we'll just take a couple of minutes and they can come and cut the cake. You have the knife? Yeah, please. Then we all can sing. Let's sing devotees. Hare Krishna
to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna dear Rajabhakti Mataji, Radhika Mataji, Hare Krishna to you. May you never take birth again. May you never take birth again. May you never take birth again. Hare Krishna to you. Haribol!
What's this?
Tissues now.
Thank you all for your presence and your wishes. Devotee life is successful when we get the blessings. The life is supposed to be a collection of blessings. So, the birthday, that day, or this day, that day doesn't matter. There's an association. It is said that the precious gift one can have is association with devotees and an opportunity to serve. When this two happens, the life is successful. So, Dwarakadish Prabhu and Vishakapriya Mataji, they're visiting from India. They're based in Mumbai, They serve in Radha Gopinath temple. Very, very senior devotees. Almost 4 to 5, early 80s. Early 80s, they came in contact with the Bhakti Yoga, ISKCON. And then after that, they became very serious. They got married. They're living in Mumbai, started serving in Mumbai. Later on, they extended their service to the rest of the world. Prabhu, by profession, is a doctor. And then he's one of the senior doctor in Radha Gopinath Extension, which is Bhaktivedanta Manor. And then they are the founder for a hospital. That's the only hospital in the world where they treat not only body, soul also. So those who not been, you can hear about it. You can read in Google also. So Prabhu is a counselor of the counselor. The counselor means one who gives some guidance, siksha to so many devotees. He is the counselor of the counselor. So just imagine, he was being trained, Mataj and the spiritual master, who's known as Radha Maharaj, how to take care of devotion life, emotional life, family life. So we see so many philosophers coming to ISKCON. They talk about big philosophy. What these devotees were told is a group of stuck questions. How do we apply spirituality in a family life with the kids in a practical way? But the way they do it is amazing. So they travel around the world, inspiring so many people. So when they come here, we also recommend the couples. They come and talk to them one-on-one. When they have pain or pleasure or success, unsuccessful, doesn't matter. You can just come, open up. You can talk one-on-one. They're available. So tomorrow also they're available. You can invite for their lunch or breakfast or 2 minutes here and there.
Not available tomorrow. Sorry.
So you can understand that this time is already booked up. If not, you can always catch up. You can spend some time. Valuable time, a life-changing experience you can have. In family life, there is the argument, there is differences of opinions. But how do we apply Krishna consciousness in a practical and daily life? So, having said that, let's give a big round of applause. Two programs. One and then what about the tomorrow's topic? Temple?
Tomorrow is pillars of growth.
Pillars of growth. She don't need a mic. And then there's a second program is happening tomorrow, 7 o'clock at the temple. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Can you, how do you won't be able to see this.
Are
My
you okay?
fear is
Are
there.
you able to see?
You can see this? Shastra Chakshu. I want to turn it little bit this side.
No, it's clear.
You can spray it. फिर भी थोड़ा इधर आ जाइए. Hare Krishna. A feeling of special joy today to meet old friends who've been meeting every year for the last several years. Familiar faces, happy devotees of this Shri Radha Vrindavan Network community of Columbus. Thank you all for coming today and thank you for having us. We're going to share something very wonderful today out of our joy of our heart, which will really be very nourishing, very relishing, and truly, truly uplifting. We believe. That's what we believe it should be. So first, of course, we offer our prayers, and then we will take our discussion, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Aurangzeb and all that stuff, right? All that is past history of medieval India. But what we'll be talking today is actually when history is rewritten, when history of the modern times be rewritten, whatever we're talking today will be actually studied by the world. We are a part right now of the most glorious historical chapter in the history of human civilization. And therefore, students who will pass out after a couple of centuries will read what we are talking about today. Hare Krishna, right? So, yesterday we had Ram Navami. Today is the appearance day of Lakshmanaji and Bharat and Shatrugna also. Very holy day today. But in Ramayana, there's a very special episode which takes place at the time when all the monkeys are on the bank of the ocean and they see the vast ocean. Sampati, the vulture, has told them that Sita Maya is across. The distance to be crossed from here to there is how many yojanas? 100 yojanas, which is 800 miles, right? And that all that you need to do is just cross this. Now, all the monkeys are there, the whole army is there, the search party was there.
We can't hear over here so
Hare
well.
Krishna.
Very soft.
Okay. Now? Yeah, now it's better. थोड़ा बढ़ाएं. Should we increase this? थोड़ा सा बढ़ा सकते हैं. You know better how to do it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Is it all right? Better. Okay, good. Thank you. So then all the monkeys are asked how much they can jump. So once one monkey said, I can jump 10 yojana. Somebody said 20. Then Gavak said 30. And then somebody said something else, right? And then, but everyone was wondering, where is Hanuman? He's not telling his best performance. So Jambavan says, there is Hanuman. And then Jambavan goes up to him. And what is Jambavan's important role in this particular episode? Now Hanuman was sitting there as if, you can't do it, so obviously I can do it, right? I'm one of you. So he was just sitting there, looking here and there, as if he has no role play in this whole mission of crossing the ocean. And Jambavan started reminding Hanuman about his potential because he was cursed that he can only do things, your power will only come back when you are reminded, right? And so there is a person amongst us who actually has understood what is the greatest potential of every soul in this world and how we are living life which is so inferior to our max potential. And that person is His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So everybody has a history. There have been millions of people in this world who have come and gone. And each one creates his own small little history for whatever number of years he lives, right? But that is a documented historical peep into the pre-ISKCON years of His Divine Grace, right? So all of you know that Prabhupada came to America, right? But we may not know much about the pre-ISKCON years, right?
Can I put on this also?
No, just take this.
So some children were asked a question that where does milk come from? And they said from bottles, from packets. So and their parents had to say no, milk comes from cows. They said no, milk comes only from the bottle.
Speak with them.
Oh, you can hear? No. Milk comes only from the bottles and in the packets it comes. So they had parents has to say no, milk comes from cows. And then it is put in the packet and then it has come, right? So in modern day, we even forget what is the source of something. We forget what is the source of milk, right? So we people who have not seen Prabhupada, how many of us, any of us here who has seen Prabhupada physically? We haven't seen him, right? Huh? Oh yeah, Naren Krishna Prabhu has seen Prabhupada. But we were all not so fortunate in that sense to see the physical form of Prabhupada. And we joined ISKCON and everything goes on in ISKCON the way Prabhupada taught us. But we forget that connection, that it is, how have we got what we have got? From whom have we got it? From Prabhupada. So we may forget about the cow who gave the milk by which we are all nourished till today. But we are not concerned as long as we are happy having prasadam, Sunday feast, going to the temple, being with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna. So it's important for us to understand that connection, just like the parents have to explain the connection between the cow and the milk to the children. So we must understand how we have got nourished, what was our cow, what is our connection by which we have got this, right? And many times it happens like that. We have these jam sessions. You know what's a jam session? Just a minute. In parties and just get-togethers, they play this jam session. Means you give a topic, some chits are put, and somebody picks up a topic, and they will say a pen. So you have to speak for 1 minute non-stop on a pen, and a ball. You have to speak for 1 minute on a ball. So even devotees play this jam session game. Have you all played ever? We should play next time. They'll put chits. We played when a group of us had gone for the picnic, and you put tulsi, kanthi, cow, tree, kadamba tree, banyan tree, anything, conch shell, a bell. These type of topics you put, and devotees come. When the music ends, they pick up the chit and they have to speak for 1 minute on. So one of the topics which was given in one of those sessions was Srila Prabhupada. So everybody said, wow, Prabhupada, and that person started speaking. And he said, yeah, Prabhupada is the founder of ISKCON and he went in the Jaladut. He went to the west and he landed in New York and 22nd Avenue and he made some hippies into happies and 1 minute was not over yet. And he couldn't talk any more details. He couldn't talk any more details, although we are devotees, right? We should know about Prabhupada. So when you come on the flight, like we came from India to the US, so they show the route map on the TV. That's the most interesting part for devotees. Where were we and where have we come? Otherwise, everybody else is just, like they're just glued on. It's so funny. 16 hours, 18 hours, they just keep watching. Their head doesn't pain, their eyes don't pain. But to see the route is very interesting. That where are we now? About what we are flying? Because otherwise, it's all clouds around you. And you don't know where you are. They'll show the arrow Bombay, and then the arrow is going to Heathrow, London. So you will just see 2-3 places in between, Gulf of Oman and whatever, Karachi and this, that, and all, and you reach London. 4-5 spots will be there. So then what do you have to do? What do you do? Zoom in. You zoom in and you see much more details, right? You will see some Russian countries whose names serve everything ending with KOV. This law and that law, and I can't pronounce. Very difficult to pronounce. You keep seeing all that, and then you'll come to London, which is a dot. You zoom into London, you will see Leicester, Manchester. You will see the British Museum and the Big Ben and everything. Everything you start seeing when you zoom in, right? So when you want to know something about a person, you need to zoom in. And many times it happens like that the closest people we think we are, we don't know much about it. There are couple games you play, right? Even couples play games when they go out and they will say, okay, now you have to tell what is the favorite color of your wife. And say, I think so red. But, oh, you think so? You don't know? Prabhupada would say sometimes, what is God? I think he is the. Oh, you think? You don't know? It's like that, So, what is the favorite item of your husband? He likes food. Everything he likes. He likes prasad.
Any prasad he likes.
Any prasad he likes. So you don't know specific details. Which is his favorite book, pastime from the Krishna book, or which is his favorite hangout place, or a vacation place, or which is a favorite dham. But we may not know these details. But when there is love, you know the details and you want to know more details. The more devotion means attention to detail. The more detail you go into, the more our devotion is seen, right? When you do DT dressing also, you pay attention to so many details, how the pin is put here, it should not hurt, this turban piece will look good here, that turban piece will look good there. Everything should be perfect, attention to detail. So that's why we thought that we will take a peek. Going into detail, Prabhupada's whole life is a long thing, Lilamrit was written by Satswarup Maharaj, which went into 6 volumes. And most of us know more details of Prabhupada after he landed in US. The pre-ISKCON days, there are so many details which we were surprised when we started to read. So many details are there, and when you will see the presentation, even you will realize that. So that's why we said, okay, let's take a peep into the pre-ISKCON years of His Divine Grace, and let's try to remember these details. We like to remember, if you go to somebody's house every year and you ask, what is her name? Prabhuji, what is her name? And if I ask you every year, what's her name? You say, you are coming every day, every year, you can't remember her name. What is your son's name and what are the details? Can't remember. Then what type of closeness is that? Isn't it? So same way we want to go deeper into this. So we'll set a context first.
Yeah. So I was hearing a lecture of Radhanath Swami, my worshipful spiritual master, and I came across this quote exactly, and that inspired me to think about more deeply about the subject. Without the person Bhagavad, the book Bhagavad simply remains theoretical. Srila Prabhupada is the best jewel of humanity. Therefore, we're calling it the jewels of in the history of mankind, right? So, we all know that after Prabhupada started ISKCON, he would say, my home is, my office is, and place of worship is everybody knows, and everybody obviously knows this. But we want to talk about the pre-ISKCON years, right? So there are 3 chapters, there are 3 sections to Prabhupada's life there. And we will show you some document which will tell you what it is.
Why are we taking the figure 3?
Why are we taking the figure 3? Okay. So we have made this presentation using the word 3 everywhere, right?
Easy remembrance.
Yeah, just to get everything a little more easy to our memory. So this word 3 is very important in Vedic literature. 3 modes of material nature. 3 gunas, right? 3 guna avatars. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, three Trinity, past, present, future, 3 parts of time, right? 3 Shaktis, Antaranga, Bahiranga, Tatastha. So there are a lot of 3s like this, right? Therefore, Krishna ka one name based on this word 3 is called as Triyadhish. Triyadhish, the Lord of Threes. The Lord of Triya, the Lord of these. This means the Lord of the threes. So we borrowed that particular 3 and we are using that 3 for Prabhupada, who's not different from Krishna in one sense, right? So 3 aspects of Prabhupada you will see.
Be easier to remember.
Easier to remember, yeah. So there are 3 very powerful episodes in Prabhupada's life which have paved the way for what he has done. One, of course, is 1922 at Uddatanga, right? Some of you, if you happen to go to Kolkata, please don't miss this chance to go to Uddatanga, right? It is a place where these 2 great acharyas, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and His Divine Grace, met for the first time. The time, of course, is not Prabhupada, is Abhay Day, right? So they met for the first time here, and as you know, when Abhay bowed down to Sarsi Thakur out of respect for a sannyasi of his stature. Then he points his finger and said, "You are a young, educated man. Why don't you preach the message of Krishna consciousness in the Western world?" Right? And those lines, to us, if it was spoken to anybody, it would be very casual. So, yeah, I will try. Thank you very much, Maharaj. But those lines for Prabhupada went deep into his heart like an arrow and stayed there forever. Right?
Stone.
His entire. So the first line in stone was created in Prabhupada's heart. That his whole life was now going to be. So he transformed after this one episode with Siddhanta from a nationalist who was supporting Gandhian movement because 1922 is active independence movement. From there, he turned into thinking about more about the whole world rather than just India. Hmm. The second episode, which affected Prabhupada very powerfully and deeply, is 1935 November. And this picture we are seeing is when Prabhupada is with his Guru Maharaj. Now he's of course initiated. In 1932, Prabhupada was initiated at Allahabad in Gaudiya Math. And now he's walking to his Gurudev, and there's a bit of trouble there at the Gaudiya Math because things are happening. They're not the way Saraswati Thakur had envisioned would happen. There was some infighting and misunderstanding and some politics was there, right? And therefore he spells out his heart. Saraswati Thakur said, "Abhay, if you ever get money, print and publish books." So that was another arrow which entered Prabhupada's heart. So Prabhupada now had two things. He would go to the West, and how would he go to the West? He would go to the West by printing books. And the third thing which you see over here is the last communication between Prabhupada and his Gurudev. Saraswati Thakur disappeared in this world on 31st January 1936, right? And just few days before, this letter was written by Prabhupada to his Gurudev. So somebody want to read that? Somebody can read it loudly.
In 1936, just on the 13th December, I wrote him one letter. Not 13th. I think by the beginning of December 1936, I wrote one letter to Guru Maharaj. I knew he was little kind upon me, so I wrote that Guru Maharaj, you have got many disciples. I am also one of them, but they are doing direct service to you. Some of them are brahmacharis, some of them are sannyasis, but I am a householder. I cannot. Of course, I was giving sometimes some monetary help, but I could not give any direct service. So I asked him that if there is any particular service I can do for you. So that letter was replied on 13th December, dated 13th December from Puri. And he passed away on the 31st December, just a fortnight before. So the reply was the same as he wanted me to do this preaching work in 1922. When I first met him, that you should try to preach wherever you have learned from me to the English knowing people in English. That will do good to you and to the people to whom you shall preach. That is my instruction. So I took up direction, and then he passed away in 1936, 31st December.
Srila Prabhupada will always remain for all of us the person who personifies Guru Nishtha to the max. How the words of Guru he held so sacred in his heart, right? There's nothing casual about that relationship for him. Every word which emanated from his lotus lips were deeply absorbed in Prabhupada's consciousness. And here is the reconfirmation of 1922 order that you must go and preach, right? So now, this is a very special document you are seeing here. This is from Prabhupada's own diary. He was given this diary by the Skindia Navigation Company, and this is the first page after opening the diary, right, which is framed, right? Now, those who can read, you can read that it is written here, the residence of Prabhupada. What is the residence?
Vrindavan,
And what is his office?
Delhi,
Delhi. And where in Delhi?
Chippivada. They won't be able to read.
Right? Can you read Chippivada? Did you ever hear there's a place on the planet called as Chippivada? So there we are. So we begin to understand there is much we don't know. This was Prabhupada's official office where he performed for a good number of years. This is the Chippiwada temple. On the second floor of this temple, and this dome which you are seeing is a place under which the deities are being housed. On the right side, you are seeing the deities. So this room was given to Srila Prabhupada by a very close person. We'll talk about that in the next slide. But Prabhupada stayed here, and his conceiving of a worldwide revolution through Krishna consciousness, that revolutionary ideas were generated by Prabhupada when he was staying in this small little attic of the Chippiwada temple. By ISKCON's efforts, this temple is now under ISKCON. This is a temple may not be by ISKCON earlier, but now it is. Since last 4-5 years, it is under ISKCON. Now, let's go to, so that is a little bit introduction to Prabhupada's Delhi side, right? Now we go to Prabhupada's residence, right? So Prabhupada stayed in Vrindavan for 6 years. 3 years at the Vamshi Gopalji Mandir and 3 years at the Sri Sri Radha Damodar Mandir. Everyone knows that, right?
Have you visited the Vamshi Gopalji temple at Vrindavan?
How many of you have seen this holy place? You may not have seen, you may have missed it, right? Not who has seen? This also corresponds to then the Samadhi of Sri Gadadhar Pandit, right? So this is the exact place, the temple which is overlooking the Jamuna. It is at Keshi Ghat. Prabhupada stayed over here for 3 years and did a writing work. He wrote a lot of poetry, a lot of things over here. We'll tell you that. And on the two other things, the famous picture in the center, Prabhupada is sitting in his kitchen and what is he looking at? Sripad Goswami's Samadhi, right? And the right side is that place, which is the sort of a repaired place where Prabhupada is sitting with his godmothers. Now, something about this place, this Radha Mandir, when Prabhupada stayed there, was in an unused state for 300 years. And when Prabhupada was called to stay here, that place was in a dilapidated state. Imagine what happens to a room if it is not used for 300 years. But for Prabhupada, that did not matter. Right? Why? Because Prabhupada knew that Krishna is bringing him closer to his predecessor acharyas. And the direct inspiration he needs, the Krishna Shakti Virnahi Tara Pravartan. That Shakti comes from Krishna to the Parampara. And now Krishna is giving him a residence next to the greatest Parampara acharyas like Sripad Jiva Goswami and Sripad Rupa Goswami. Right? So that place was then repaired. Prabhupada spent from his very, very meager amount of money he had. He paid at the time 500 rupees to make the house a little livable because it was in ruins, literally in ruins in 300 years. So after 500 rupees, he got some floor, got some plaster, some bulb, some electrical connections, some water connections, etc. Right? That is regarding the introduction to Prabhupada's Vrindavan house. And this is Prabhupada's, now the picture you see on the right upper side is Prabhupada's house where he stayed in Mumbai. Of course, he stayed in many places in Mumbai because here is a person who had no house of his own. He's a sannyasi, right? So he would only be sort of at the mercy of donors, philanthropists, and good, well-wishing friends. But that place you're seeing upstairs is the place where Prabhupada stayed. This is in Andheri East, the Scindia housing colony, right? You heard of Scindia? How many of you heard of Scindia? No, maybe that is also right. So Scindia Navigation Company is Prabhupada connected with Sumati Morarji, right? So she was the director of the Scindia Navigation Company. Of course, as you know, she helped Prabhupada to go to America, right? This was her housing colony where he was staying, and this is the place where he was staying. And this flyer you are seeing is a flyer printed by Prabhupada personally when he took the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Srimad Bhagavatam for Prabhupada? It was India's message of peace and goodwill, right? And so that is the house of Prabhupada where he stayed.
So these are the three things: Delhi, Pune, and
Pune.
Pune. Delhi,
Vrindavan,
Vrindavan,
and
and
Bombay.
Mumbai.
Okay, so 3 chapters, modern chapters are there. We'll go into more detail now.
Next 3.
Yeah. So now there are 3 beautiful, powerful poems which reveal very intimately Prabhupada's heart during these years. Now, some of you know that when Prabhupada came to Boston, he wrote a beautiful poem, right? What is the name of the poem? Markine Bhagavad Dharma. Boro Kripa Koile Krishna Adhamira Prati. Right? That song which we all sing, something a song which we should all know by heart. Actually, it's Prabhupada's heart is pouring out deeply. Nachao, 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 say mate. Prabhupada's helpless cry to Krishna to use him to be used as a puppet to be bring our Krishna consciousness world. That was done when Prabhupada was at Boston, entering Boston Harbor and seeing the Boston skyline. But Prabhupada was also called by his Gaudapadas as Kavi. He was called as Kavi. Kavi means poet. And Prabhupada wrote many poetries during his life. So there are 3 poetries we are going to see over here, which were written by Prabhupada, which during this period, which reveal the content of his heart. So this is written at the Vamshi Gopalji Mandir when he was staying there. It's called as Vrindavan Bhajan. I am sitting alone in Vrindavan Dham. In this mood, I'm getting many realizations. I have my wife, sons, daughters, grandsons, everything, but I have no money. That word is very, very important. Prabhupada had no money, right? Here is the greatest acharya of the world, but he was living in such abject poverty, which you and I cannot even imagine. And they are all a fruitless glory. All that is left of this family is a list of just names. But on the spiritual platform, we are all relatives, brothers, all billions of jivas when seen in relation to Krishna. So getting completely disconnected from his material attachments to his family. And the Acharya's heart is moving and swelling in love and concern. So that mood comes out strongly from this Vrindavan Bhajan. The second point is at the time when he writes in feeling of Viraha means separation. Astak means 8, right? So this 8 verses are written by Prabhupada, we quoting only one of the verses here, in remembrance of his spiritual master during his disappearance day. That means the disappearance tithi of Sri Thakur is there, and he writes this poetry. On the strength of Lord Chaitanya's order, you send all of your servants door to door. First time there was vibrant preaching, so much preaching. 64 matas were made all over India, right? But now, in your absence, everything is darkness. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, he's telling his Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, you are always compassionate towards the suffering jiva souls. On this occasion of your separation, I see only dejection. How could a tiny spiritual child of yours survive without a spiritual father? So Thakur, as you saw, he left in 1936, right? And this is now about 1960-61. So many years have passed. And Prabhupada is feeling deeply the absence of his Guru Maharaj, right? And feeling shelterless. That how will this vision of Guru Maharaj actually come true? And so the third poetry which he writes in 1961, this is during the appearance day of this is the Vyasa Puja, which has been celebrated at Vrindavan. So some of his godmothers who are there, sannyasis, they come together and they have a small ceremony, right, to commemorate their Guru Maharaj's birthday, appearance day, right? A festival of flowers does not constitute worship, Prabhupada writes. One who serves the message of Guru really worship him. Our master said to preach from the seas across the earth, penetrate the universal shell, come together and preach this Krishna consciousness, right? So Prabhupada's heart is burning. There's an inferno in his heart at seeing that things are not happening the way Guru Maharaj wanted. And what we're settling down for now? Settling down for just some small bhajan, some kirtan, some remembrance of Gurudev. But nothing's happening on the scale which Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj wanted. He wanted a world revolution. And we're giving him some flowers, some fruits to offer. Prabhupada was totally dissatisfied with that type of worship.
The next threes which we are going to take is the three helpful Sharmas. Right? You go to anybody's house, you read not the Ayers, the Patels, the Shahs. You read over there. So these are the three Sharmas. Any Sharmas here? Anybody's surname is Sharma?
Very well.
No.
You'll be happy to hear this. Abhay Sharma. Wow. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Somebody,
Shamas are
from
very helpful people.
somebody in our community has really done something special.
Shamas are helpful people. So you see this first picture, the picture is of Radha Printing Press. And the owner of the Radha Printing Press was this Mr. Sharma, Hit Sharan Sharma. So he helped Prabhupada to make the dust cover of the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first volume. And he wanted to print it further, but the font was, he needed 12-point font and he didn't have that. So he directed him to one of his other friends, Mr. Gautam Sharma. You see on the extreme right side, there is a picture, and he was the owner of the OK Press.
Okay means,
Uh,
Oh Krishna.
OK Press means Oh Krishna, you know. So he helped him to print the first volume of the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So both these Sharmas, they were instrumental because when Prabhupada was going to the West, he didn't want to go to the West just himself. He wanted to go with the books. And we know that several times he said, actually, the books are going to the US and I'm accompanying the books. It's not that I'm going and the books are going to come with me. No, books are traveling to the US and I'm accompanying the books. So his main concern in fulfilling the mission of his spiritual master was, I have to print the books. Without books, I don't have, concrete something to give to the world, right? So whoever could help in book printing was the, real special person. As we say, service is most where the need is most, right? So these two Sharmas help. This is the old time printing press. You have to pull like this, khadak, 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 khadak. You could keep hearing those sounds. And the third Sharma was this Sri Krishna Sharma. Now we showed you that picture of Chippivada. The same picture is there. So Prabhupada didn't have any residence in Delhi. He would come from Vrindavan to Delhi. You can't imagine how many times he must have tread that road. Take a tonga and take a rickshaw and come over there. Hundreds of times he must have gone. But when he would come to Delhi, he had no place of residence to stay. So this pious gentleman, Sri Krishna Sharma, Shri Krishna Pandit Sharma, he offered this room. You see that triangle is the dome under which the deities are there, so that nobody steps over the dome. They have this type of a structure over there. And he was such a kind-hearted person, and he could understand. Even though Prabhupada at that time was on so much of poverty materially that he had no money. He had no money. He had no possessions. So even if the room was given, he had nothing to use in the room. So the Sri Krishna Sharma brought a chatai for him to sleep. He put a bulb so that he can have some light over there. He brought a low-lying table, a bucket, a lota for him to take a bath. Even that Prabhupada didn't have. And a picture, knowing that he's a devotee, so a picture which was given to him by his father, who had been given this picture by the king of Jaipur. A picture of Radha Krishna, he gifted to Prabhupada over there to put because he knew okay, he will have to make some offering. And daily some pocket money he would give Prabhupada to use. Now for Prabhupada that was such a big help. When you have nothing, anybody who fulfills all your basic needs like this, how grateful you would feel. So Prabhupada was so happy that he wrote this personal appreciation in the temple's guest book. And he writes, I'm pleased to write herein that I have come to Delhi from my headquarters at Keshi Ghat, Vrindavan, purely on spiritual mission to propagate the cult of devotional service of the Lord. And I am more pleased to mention herewith that Sriman Sri Krishna Sharma, and because of whatever way he helped, he gave him a name.
A title.
A title. There's Bhaktivedanta Swami or Narottam Das Thakur was known as Thakur Mahashaya. Srinivas Acharya. Some name is given, right? So Prabhupada gave him the name Hari Bhaktanu Das. Like we say, no, Dasanudas. So he gave him the name Hari Bhaktanudas has provided me a suitable room for my literary activities. I am publishing an English fortnightly magazine of the name Back to Godhead from this place, and the Naval Prem Sabha, of which Sri Krishna ji is the honorary secretary, is arranging for my daily lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam. He wants to preach, but whom to preach to? There has to be some forum, right, to do. So because he was the honorary secretary of this Naval Prem Sabha, he would call the Sabha members and tell, "Okay, come, this Swamiji has come." So Prabhupada would have an opportunity to share the knowledge which he had got. That was his burning desire. He wanted to help. So he started arranging for that, and now this ISKCON Chippivada, because it has been given to ISKCON.
When you think of, suppose I ask you this question, what are the steps for printing and publishing a book? What are the various steps? Anybody knows? What is required?
Manuscript.
First, you have to write the manuscript, right? So that was Prabhupada's first task. He would refer to the commentaries of great acharyas, Sridhar Swami, Vedagavara Acharya, Vishakapriya Thakur, right? He would 5 different acharyas whose books he would refer to, right? Then he would really absorb their explanation, and then what the contemporary world would understand from that, he would write his Bhaktivedanta purports. And that was one part. But then he required, first of all, paper. Now, please we have to remember, paper at that time was a big short supply, right? So he had to buy his paper. He would buy paper himself, go to various paper marts, get the paper, give it to the printing person, right? He would print something, then he would give the proofs. Would take the thing back to Chipivada, look at the proofs, give him back, right? After it is printed, then you have to bind it. So you would have to take it to the binder, would you bind it, right? Then making the dust jackets, then designing the dust jacket, how it has to be designed. All this, and once it's printed, then it has to be given to the book depots, the book distributors, because there is no agents who will just market your book, right? So they have to go to the book depots. Professor go to how many have you sold, how many books have you sold, how many copies have you sold, collect that money from him, right? And then himself go and promote books to various big people. So if you see the one man, the entire industry of printing and publishing was being done by one person.
At what age?
At what age, right? Today, there are different there are huge departments when you have to print a magazine or book. There are departments which like huge departments, one doing layout, other doing this, other doing that. Everything which you're talking about which goes to making a book, which any book which you can think of, that were all done by one person. Right? And therefore this particular middle picture you are seeing is the tireless fingers of Srila Prabhupada. How many times Prabhupada has hit those keys? This is Prabhupada's own personal hand. One of his typewriters is called as Corona typewriter. Yeah, it is Corona, but it is Corona. So Prabhupada used to spend, even when he was staying in Radha Mandir, please remember, Prabhupada has given up his sleep for this. He would sleep at 10 p.m., get up at 2 a.m., and from 2 a.m. he would start typing. When he was in Chipivada, he would get up at 3 a.m. and type for. So for Prabhupada, typing these fingers, and these are not like soft keyboards, right? They're like hard. So Prabhupada's fingers are tirelessly just hitting the keyboard and printing and then moving and then next, typing. So Prabhupada had manuscripts, not the manuscripts printing like this. So these are the Prabhupada's most tireless fingers. So we worship his lotus feet, but we also need to worship his hands. These fingers which have given the world the books which we all are reading today, and how these fingers have written pages of books which are being read by the entire human civilization. On the left side, you are seeing this is that receipt of Prabhupada. You know how much rent Prabhupada was paying for their rooms at that time? Radha Mandir rooms, he was paying some rent. Chimivada was free because Pandit Sharma had given him free. But that room for Radha Mandir was 5 rupees. 5 rupees per month. So the advance payment of Prabhupada, 25 rupees he has paid over here to Gaurachand Goswami, who was the proprietor of the Radha Mandir Mandir. Right? So various things. So there are a lot of things. There are several books written on Prabhupada's life during his stay in Damodar Mandir. There are many things, many episodes about devotees who have stayed in the neighborhood, who would see Prabhupada from the neighboring buildings. The Swamiji would come in the night and he would sweep the floor in front of Radha's Rupa Goswami Samadhi, and he would loudly cry helplessly, begging, urging Rupa Goswami to come and help him. Here is a time when at Damodar Mandir he actually had darshan of Sripad Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, who actually blessed him that you just go ahead and do what you're supposed to do. We are with you. This is a very special place for Gaudiya Vaishnavas and especially for ISKCON followers. When we go over here, we spend several minutes, hours praying. This is one of the holiest places in the world. Prabhupada has stayed here, right? And of course, you're seeing on the right side one very special event took place before Prabhupada left in '65. The last Janmashtami of Prabhupada in Vrindavan, right? Not at any Gaudiya Mutt, but at Radha Damodar Mandir. This is a flyer which is printed there. Prabhupada by now, even though he is a loner, but Prabhupada has somehow managed to get some very big people involved in his mission, right? So here, Mr. G.D. Somani is a very powerful philanthropist and a builder of the Ranganaji temple at Vrindavan. He came as a chief guest, and he also was successful in bringing the governor of UP at that time to come for Janmashtami. Huh?
No, Vishwanath.
Chenna Reddy is now, but at that time it was Vishwanath Das, governor of UP, not Tabika.
Temple was chief guest. Sorry, open.
So, we will show his picture to you. So Prabhupada was able to penetrate the big people and get them somehow involved because they were so pure, and those people who could see that depth of his devotion were so impressed by his simplicity, his purity, his devotion, his conviction in Krishna was so alarmingly powerful that they would seemingly, accept his invitation. So,
The next three are the three personalities who helped him fulfill the dream. So we know that after Prabhupada left home, repeatedly Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj would come in his dream and he would urge him to accept sannyas, accept sannyas, accept sannyas. So Prabhupada decided that he's so many times telling me maybe I should do it. So he went first to Calcutta, to Bagh Bazaar. You all have seen the Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Mutt?
nobody must have seen.
Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Mutt is the place where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj left his body. And it is one of the main Gaudiya Mutts of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. Almost like a headquarter type of thing. So one of his main disciples after that was Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj. And Prabhupada went to meet him and he told him that this is what our Guru Maharaj has told. So I want to print these books and then I want to go to the West. So Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj said that, Gaudiya Mutt is an institute and we have some institutional requirements. So first you stay for 6 months in here, do some seva here, and we already have so many literatures to be printed. So after all those books are printed, if we have money and time available, we will print your books and we will see. But first you come and you stay in the mutt and do some seva over here. And he was not so encouraging. So Prabhupada realized that I don't have time, 6 months. He had that feeling of urgency to fulfill the mission of Prabhupada, of Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. So he said that in his mind he decided this is not the right place. So then he went to another of his god brothers, Keshavji Maharaj in Mathura, right? So this is the Keshav Gaudiya Mutt. Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt in Mathura, opposite the Ranga Bhavan of Kans, where the Chanur and Mushtik
Wrestling
match took place. This is bang opposite that place. Keshavji Gaudiya Mutt. And he met Keshavji Maharaj and he told him that, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati comes in my dreams like that. So he said, of course, you should take sannyas now.
Fully qualified.
You are fully qualified, you must take sannyas immediately. And Prabhupada felt really encouraged, that I should do that. So the picture on the right is of the deities in the Gaudiya Mutt. And you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the side of Krishna over there. When Prabhupada was in Grihastha and he had some Lakshmi, this is the Mahaprabhu donated by Prabhupada to this Gaudiya Mutt. Personally, Prabhupada gave this deity to Gaudiya Mutt. So in front of these deities, they had a small ceremony not a very big thing, you know. The inmates were there, and Prabhupada was there, and few of his godbrothers and all were there. And we know that story that one of his very dear godbrothers was Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, whose samadhi is there at Pavan Sarovar. So he was sitting there and doing kirtan, and when the ceremony was going on, other devotees were saying, soft kirtan, soft kirtan. And Prabhupada is the candidate sitting for sannyas, and he said, loud, loud. Huh? And then again, the other people would say, softer, softer. He would say, loud, loud. Hmm? So his conviction in the holy name that this is what is going to be the real part of my sannyas ceremony. And the ceremony was over, and then he was asked to give a small talk. Because even though he was a disciple, but the Guru knew what is his qualification. So he told him that please give a small talk. Now, most of the people sitting there, barring one or two, didn't know English. They knew only Hindi. But Prabhupada gave a class in English. Why? Because he knew that what is the purpose for which I'm taking sannyas is what my Guru Maharaj said,
1922.
preach in the English speaking language. So it's like a practice session. I have to preach in English. So he gave the whole talk in English over there, right? So you see that picture on the side, that is Prabhupada standing on the extreme. That side is Prabhupada. In the middle is Keshavji Maharaj, and this side is Muni Maharaj, another Swami who took sannyas at the same time, right? So this is the next trees that were there.
So of course his focus was Srimad Bhagavatam, because he was told earlier that Swamiji, you are printing some small booklets and pamphlets like this, like BTG. These people didn't, sometimes they may just throw in a dustbin, right? But if you print books, so as an Indian naval officer and a librarian told him, Swamiji, you write books. So his focus was ultimately was Srimad Bhagavatam, because he had complete conviction that more than Gita and more than other scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. When Krishna left this world at the end of Dwapar Yuga, Krishna again reincarnated in the world in the form of the pages of this scripture called as Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's going to be his conviction that this book is the only book which can rectify the misdirected civilization. However, along with that, there were three other books which was printed. This is the Practical magazine. Have a look. This is the 1944 edition.
Second book.
Second book is volume 1, part 2. Only white and black. Of course, you can see now BTJ magazine, as some of you may have seen, is now highly colored and sophisticated coloring. But this is the old one which is there. And how many of you heard this book or Light of the Bhagavad? You did? Very nice. Thank you for knowing. Some of our devotees know here. You read the first book? Lovely. So nice. It's the most underrated book in Prabhupada's, among Prabhupada's books. So there's a bit of history here. I will share that history, right? So history here is that in Jan of 1960, Prabhupada got an invitation from one of his friends. There is a World Conference on Human Spirits, right? And this conference is inviting Indians to come, and among you, Swamiji, you should go there. You are the one who can go there.
In Japan.
So in Japan. So now Prabhupada's heart was, he knew that there's the Maya headquarters of Maya is in New York, in America, right? But Prabhupada was so open. I said, if Krishna wants me to start my movement, world revolution in Japan, I'm absolutely open. So he was eager and very, very excited to go to Japan. So Dr. Nokano, one who's corresponding with him, was the secretary of the conference. Swamiji, we will arrange everything for you. Come here. You can stay for a year. You can stay for a month here. We will arrange lectures for you, and everything will be taken care of. All that you do is have to arrange for your back and forth travel fare. Now, please remember, Prabhupada was so much in the poverty situation that he begged and from so many people, industrialists and philanthropists, that he wants to go. But in Prabhupada's life, very important thing to note that he knocked thousands of doors to fulfill his mission for his Guru Maharaj. Practically, when most of the doors did not open. If the doors open also, the answer which came from there was no. And he contacted in desperation Dr. Radhakrishnan, the then president of the country, right? And then the reply came, no. we can't sponsor you. So after much eagerness to go, they were having a lot of correspondence with Dr. Nogano. Said, can you sponsor my back and forth this thing? I said, that will be difficult. I can't sponsor your travel back and forth. And the whole team of Prabhupada to start a movement dropped. Now this book was written by Prabhupada in preparation to go to Japan, where the themes of Srimad Bhagavatam are taken from the 10th canto, discovering the glory and beauty of Vrindavan. How would he preach to Japanese who have no understanding of Vaishnava philosophy? So he would take examples of the
Nature.
nature, about the clouds, the Yamuna, and the rain and the lightning. All this is described, and the philosophical principles emanating from that, right? So this book was in preparation for Prabhupada's visit to Japan, the light of the Bhagavad, right? And of course, the other book we are seeing is this is a time when 1959 the Sputnik was there by Russia. The Sputnik was being sent into outer space. And Prabhupada, you must remember, he was a sannyasi. He was not a traditional, watered down sannyasi. He was completely aware about the current affairs of the world. The whole world is excited about traveling to other planets, going to the moon. But said, yes, we can go to the moon, but by the Vedic process, the yogic process. So he wrote a book. Can you imagine writing a book like that? Right? Not just, you don't need a Sputnik. You don't need a Sputnik. Prabhupada's conviction was, you can go to any planet based on prospectus of yoga. Easy journey to any other planet. Now, can you imagine Prabhupada's power of his conviction, right? To write a book is one thing to believe something, one thing to write a book. And he got people who are scientists interested. One Dr. Nayak was there who was in Ahmedabad, who got really interested because at that point of time they were figuring out that there is a material world, and scientists, there is also physicists were saying there is an anti-material world. Right? So what got that part of it? Anti-material world, yes. That is spiritual world. Right? Because this world is, is material because Nirananda, everything is negative here. It is not Sachitananda, it is Nirananda. But there's another world which cannot be destroyed. Right? So Prabhupada was convinced about these things. So he would use all contemporary type of events to push the Vedic perspective, Krishna conscious perspective. Right? So these three personalities we should see with great reverence. Thereafter, to the top people of the country, right? How many of us can have access to the president of the country? But he could manage. So this is the first one on the left side. We're seeing with the traditional hat is the three leaders who helped him. One is Vishwanath Das, the governor of Uttar Pradesh.
One who came for that last Janmashtami?
When he came for the Janmashtami and Davan. So it called Kirtaniyas and they were singing. So they asked Swamiji, what song you want to sing? So Prabhupada proposed, why don't you sing this song? So they sang songs which Prabhupada himself wanted. Right? There he met a musician called as Shishir Bhattacharya. And this person is very important also because he was the person among the few 2 or 3 people who were there to bid farewell goodbye to Prabhupada at Kolkata and Dockyard. It wasn't like when you go to president of our country, Zakir Hussain, even though he's not a non-Hindu person, Prabhupada sent the copies of his Srimad Bhagavatam to him as well. Right? And he got reviews. See, Prabhupada would always be interested in getting reviews from reputed people. Because that review would show to different people, say, see, the president is appreciating. See, if this scientist is appreciating. See, so in this way, he would promote that I am not just one who's writing this, and therefore it should be, even the greatest intelligentsia of the world is appreciated. So Prabhupada would collect these reviews, so he would to push. It does more like his marketing technique to get reviews of big people, and he can push his books to other people. So Zakir Hussain wrote a good review and sent them back. And the third person I'm seeing is our Prime Minister, Lalu Shastri, right? So Lalu Shastri was doing yoga with one of his friends, and that friend of Lalu Shastri happened to know Srila Prabhupada, right? They were in the same club. So he told Swamiji, I can get you in touch with Lalu Shastri. And Prabhupada was willing to knock at any door. The door of the Prime Minister, obviously he would definitely want to go. So in the Parliament Gardens, in an informal meeting, Lalu Shastri met His Divine Grace, right? And Prabhupada offered him with his own loving hands the 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a picture there where with Bhadu Shastri is looking at the Bhagavatam and he's appreciating this. this is very nice work we are doing for the whole world. I recommend that these books be kept in all the libraries of India. That's it. So the moment he said that, Prabhupada then went to the Ministry of Education in India, and he got all the major libraries of India, all the books were sent, right? So Prabhupada was using every possible means to somehow get the message across, right?
So all the political contacts are good because they have such a name and fame. But you still need Lakshmi. Without Lakshmi, nothing happens, right? So these are the three prominent donors who helped Prabhupada in those days when he had nothing, right? So the first picture is of Sri Hanuman Prasad Poddar. He is a very, very special person. You know why? For years before BBT was there, the only spiritual literature which was famous all over was from Gita Press. Ramayana from Gita Press, Bhagavad from Gita Press. All these books, Bhagavad Gita from Gita Press. So he was a real promoter of religious books. So somebody told Prabhupada, who told Prabhupada?
No, this Hisharan Sharma.
Sharan Sharma
Again.
of the OK Press. So
No,
he said,
no, of the
Radha Press, sorry. Of the Radha Press, Sharan Sharma, he told him that sometimes you give contact, like I can help only this much, but if you go to Fala person, he will be able to help more.
Maybe he can help.
So he said he's been helping many people, maybe you should go and meet him. So he was staying in Gorakhpur. So at that time, Prabhupada had only about 150 rupees.
130.
130 rupees, not even 150, 130 rupees. So he was calculating train fare this much, from there rickshaw fare this much. And according to his calculation, if he would be able to reach there, but he would not have enough money to come back. But he said, "Ke dekha jayega. We'll see. But right now the need is I have to go there. Whatever, he may respond, he may not respond. So he took a ticket and he went to Gorakhpur. When he reached the station of Gorakhpur, he had 56 rupees left in his pocket. He took a rickshaw and went to there, 6 rupees for the rickshaw. And like that, something, he were little, and he had very less money left. And this Hanuman Prasad Poddar was a very, very divine, mystical person. It seems, they say that he could communicate with demigods, could talk to the demigods. And for us, for ISKCON, why he is special? Because when Prabhupada met him, there was one of his disciples who was sitting there. And when he met Prabhupada came to meet him. He told that disciple that actually I am not your guru is he, Swamiji. To go and meet him. You know who is that person? Radha Govind Maharaj. He donated Radha Govind Maharaj, the beloved spiritual master of our Bhavagrahi Prabhu. Bhavagrahi Prabhu is sitting behind. So he donated Radha Govind Maharaj to ISKCON. What a contribution, what a great personality. So he is this Hanuman Prasad Poddar person. So when he met him and he explained his mission, Hanuman Prasad Poddar was so happy with him. He gave him a donation of 4,000 rupees at that time. 4,000 rupees, with which he printed the first volume of. But there were 3 volumes to the first canto. So then he still needed more money. So then he went to the second place is LH Sugar Factory. So the owner of LH Sugar Factory gave him another donation of 5,000 rupees. So he printed the second volume, but he still needed the third volume. 3 volumes had to be printed. So one of his godbrothers, whose name was Kripa Sindhu Prabhu, living in Bombay. So he told him that even all contact, anybody who told any name, old timers, you will see anybody gave any, they would take out a small diary from the pocket and make a note. They always had the pen, pencil, everything ready with a small chit pad. They would write down the name, the telephone number, address, and everything. So he said that there is this Sumati Morarji, and you can try and meet her. She's a very pious lady. We have heard about that. She was staying in Bombay. Now again, Prabhupada needed money to go to Bombay. So he traveled all the way to Bombay. From Delhi, Vrindavan, he came to Bombay. And when he reached Bombay, he came to know that this India Steamship Company, who this Sumati Morarji is, She was the first woman chairman of all these type of industrial things. That time women were not taking such prominent positions, right? You see her, she head covered and Gujarati sari, very simplistic she looked. But how many employees she was controlling? How many employees? 6,000 employees. 6,000 employees she had, and she had a fleet of 54 ships. And before she got married into the Morarji family, what was her name? Some details, it gives very interesting thing to know these details. Her name was Yamuna, which is a river, na? When she got married in Morarji family, all the ships were called Jala Duta, Jala Taranga, Jala Manjari, Jala Pushpa. Everything was known as Jala, 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 Jala. It's also river. Huh? So who knew this? That there would be such a connection. So Prabhupada went to meet her. Now before her, he met his secretary Choksi, Mr. Choksi. So Choksi told him that, okay, Swamiji, after a lot of coaxing, not very easily, he said, okay, we can consider, but we'll give you half the fare on a cargo ship free, but half the fare you have to collect. Now, where is Prabhupada? Unknown city of Bombay, that too, very materialistic place, where he would be able to. So he tried. Actually, literally, Prabhupada was, we feel so pain to say, like a beggar, he was asking for money, but he could not gather enough money. So he decided to try to meet. I mean, we used to go for donation collection, and you know that the middle people, they will give you a little bit, but if somehow you can access the boss, maybe you could change their mind and heart. So he started going every day to the house of Sumati Morarji, and these people, they have a big mansion and a big gate at the end gate, and he would stand at the gate. But rich people's homes, how many people must be waiting over there? So many people would gather there, and she would just zoom across in the car. And several days this kept happening, and nothing was happening. Prabhupada would stand there with the hope that sometimes she will give me some time. So then the driver of Sumati Morarji, whose name was Bholanath,
Bolaram.
Bolaram, Bolaram, Bolaram told him that, Swamiji, like this nothing will happen. You go to our office, try over there. So then he went to the office, and he would wait there also every day, but she was so big a lady, no chance of meeting. But then he started every day. So then one day this Mr. Choksi told her that, this Swamiji such and such, from days he's trying to meet you. Why don't you just meet him once and finish off? Just yes or no, whatever. So that took place. That he asked that, I want to go to the west. And she said, no, Swamiji. Not because she didn't want to give the money, but she wanted to give the money. He's saying, I'm like your father, and your father is asking you for this. I'm like your father, and your father is asking you for this. Will you not do that much for your father? When he said that, she, okay, Swamiji, and she gave him that historical ticket which brought Prabhupada over here. And actually, just see how much struggle Prabhupada went through till he reached this stage. Till he reached this stage that somebody agreed, but that was not the end of it. Huh? That was just the beginning of the struggle of what Prabhupada had to go through.
So there are more things required. The requirement was,
That's there, no?
yeah, that will come later on. So these are Prabhupada's favorite songs. Please take note of this, right?
Should I go to that?
Yeah, you can go to that, this one, right? So we're talking about the journey of Prabhupada.
Three important
By now,
documents.
Prabhupada required, there's something called as a P form earlier, P form. P form was a document to be, which was given by the SBI, State Bank of India, right? Which states that this person who is going, phala person is going to America, wherever is going, he has no debts and no backlogs in India. Everything, his accounts are all clear. So that clearance certificate had to come from there. He required a passport, he required a visa, he required travel fare. Travel fare was already taken care of, right? And of course, he required a sponsor letter. Who will sponsor him? They were sending about someone should sponsor him, right? So then what you are seeing in the center is the original copy of the sponsor letter of Srila Prabhupada, the center document. In that document was sent by whom? By Gopal Agrawal. Gopal who was engineer He had come to do his master's here in America, and he fell in love with this beautiful lady, Sally, and they married. Sally became Sally Agarwal, and his father, his father's name is given. There's only place to know. Prabhupada writes the word Mathura businessman. You must have heard the word. He was Mathura businessman. Prabhupada would tell they must have go to America to so many people, and that was because it is his heart's desire, Guru Maharaj's mission. So he told also this in passing to this Mathura businessman, and he said, "Okay, Swamiji, I will send you." Right? So many people would say that, but nobody will do anything, right? But this Mathura businessman would often send sponsor letters telling his son, you can invite some of these sadhus. But no sadhu ever went. No sadhu ever went from America. Because sadhus are not supposed to travel to the West. The Vedic literature clearly writes that sadhus should not leave the banks of the of Bharatvarsha.
Ganga.
Because anybody who crosses and goes to the country of the Mlechas and Yavanas will be considered degraded and he will lose his own piety. So we have not found any Swami ever wanting to go, any Vaishnava Swami ever wanting to go to the West, right? But Prabhupada was one unique person. He went even beyond the Vedic aphorisms because it was the mandate of his spiritual master. And of course, he had great faith in Mahaprabhu's words, Prithivite ache yad nagaradigram sarvatra prachar hobe mora naam. Right? This had to come to pass. This prophecy was there, waiting to be fulfilled. And Prabhupada somehow knew that he would be instrumental in doing that. Right? So that was the sponsor letter of Prabhupada. Now, what you see on the left side is a very special small cutting from. Yeah, his name was, of course, I said, his father's name was Prasad.
Gopal Agarwal's father's
Yes,
name.
Prasad. So is Gopal Prasad Agarwal, right? So he's not just a Mathura businessman. His name is to be understood, right? So this one you are seeing on the left side is a beautiful small article printed by a paper. Now Shishit Bhattacharya, I mentioned his name earlier, right? Was excited that Prabhupada Swamiji is going to America. This should become big news. It should be printed in the papers. Uh, Saint is going for the first time to America. A Vaishnava Saint is going. But all the papers said,
No.
no, nobody is interested. Because you have to be famous to make news, right? Only famous people's news sell. If you are just anybody in this world, you don't sell. And nothing sensational about your going. So after going to many newspapers, one paper accepted to write something. That paper's name is Dainik Basumati. There is exact Bengali cutting of that particular paper, and the translation is given over there in English that this Swamiji is going with the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, and people in America are waiting for him to hear that message of Swamiji. So that is given. And on the right side, you are seeing, sorry, on the right side, you are seeing there is Prabhupada's visa, exact Prabhupada's visa that he went. So when he landed at Boston, he was asked by the Boston officer at the Boston harbor, Swamiji, how long you want to stay here in America? So you would have to stamp, no? So he said, I'm going to stay here for 2 months. But I was going to give a genuine try whether it is worth staying in this country and doing something or no. Please remember, he had no money, no contacts, nothing, and coming to America with anything. Right? When you came to America, when you guys came to America, everything was there. Right? Temples were already there. ISKCON was already established. But here is a person who had nothing in America. So he's going to try for 2 months. Right? But 2 months, nothing really happened. Nothing happened. Right? Prabhupada had failure after failure after failure after failure, constantly. But it never dampened his determination. Right? Never ever Prabhupada said that, okay, I want to give up. It's not happening. I tried. From 1922 onwards, I'm trying to preach Krishna consciousness. It's not happening. I came to America also. It's not happening. What should I do? I should go back. So he would go back to the harbor and find out when Jaladuta is, which brought him here, when is it going back to India? So he would consider, so they would, the hospital ask him, so you want to go back? So no, let me try. So Prabhupada got extension for 3 times of his visa of each of 3 months, right? And that brought him to July of 1965, 66, sorry. And then, as you know, in August 66, ISKCON was established, right? And then Prabhupada got from some of his followers that he could stay for a longer time in America. So that is Prabhupada's visa.
And then these are the three most beautiful events of his. First one is him climbing Jaladut
Fulfillment.
on the 13th of August, right? In fulfillment of the instruction which were given to him by his spiritual master in 1922. But that instruction was like such a line in stone that throughout his life, it took so many years to fulfill. How many years? 40 plus years to be able to do it, and he never gave up. We would try for 5 years, 10 years. I tried, What to do? Guru Maharaj understands, and he doesn't go by externals. He knows my heart. We will think of so many reasons, that
Intentions were there.
intentions were there. Krishna sees all that. We would not keep trying. For how long? That this was the most smooth sail across. The Atlantic in all the years of his career. Never had that. And then on 17 September 1965, his holy steps fell on. Can't say holy land over here. On America. What happened? Yeah, we are done anyways. So now there is a very beautiful story. On 17th September. So there is this one person who was an army officer. I love to tell the story, you might have heard it. I want to repeat again. This army officer was there, and that time there was a war between what? Russia and America. Right?
Cold War.
Cold War. But the Cold War was turning into a war. And they were all sitting with hands on the buttons with the missiles. And they just had to wait for the order from their army commander that shoot. Suddenly, and they had to press the button, and you can imagine the tension. You are going to kill thousands of lives, millions of lives. They were all so tense, sitting on the button, perspiring, that as soon as he says that, no matter you are a killer, but still you have a heart, no? So he's just sitting with those buttons over there, and suddenly they get the instruction that mission aborted. And they all said a sigh of relief. Oof. Thank God, it's not happening. And then life went on. And after a few years, one of his nephews, he gave a book about Prabhupada to his uncle, his commander, to read that book. And when he started reading that book, he had tears in his eyes. And with those tears in his eyes, he came to his nephew and he's saying, son, do you know something? The day your spiritual master landed in America was that day when that mission was aborted. So just by setting foot of a pure devotee in America, because he's not done anything, he just landed, such a big calamity in the history of the world was averted just by setting foot right on the land. So this is Srila Prabhupada, what he did, then rest is history. As we say, we cannot go so much into detail. Now, this is the way he somehow or the other got to fulfill those lines in stone which his spiritual master gave on his heart. Right? So, this part which we have presented today is actually part 2. Part 1 we are going to cover tomorrow over there, and tomorrow you will understand the connection why we took this session. Right? We are reading Urdu, Ulta. We are doing part 2 first and part 1 tomorrow we will do. But please do come, because otherwise you will not understand the gamut of the connections with which we have taken this particular topic. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Hare Krishna.
I want to end with one story. We all know Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is this great devotee whose name is what? Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi was there, and Gadadhar Pandit wanted to go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him to go and meet him. And when he saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was in such a materialistic way. He was like staying in a big mansion and wearing silken clothes and pearl necklaces and scented oil in his hair, and all those type of things. And he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent me to such a devotee. And what type of a devotee? To me, Kishara Vaishnava. He couldn't understand. He was getting bewildered. So his friend Mukunda Datta was with him, and he understood the mind. Friends understand each other's mind, right? What's going on? Mind readers. So what he did, he decided to chant a particular shloka. Which shloka he chanted? Aho Vakiyam Stanakalakutam Jigam Sayay. What you would like to say, loudly? The last line is very important. Kim va dayalu sharanam vrajemam. Who is more worthy than him for me to take shelter of? So the reason to hear about our, founder Acharya is that who is more worthy than for us to surrender our life? We are not surrendered to an impersonal mission. Mission belongs to somebody, right? And we understand the glory. The more we understand the glories of this person, more our missionary spirit is ignited in our heart, right? Shouldn't it be ignited? In India, I must commit to some missionary spirit. So same way, although we joined ISKCON, we know about Prabhupada, but time and again when we hear about Prabhupada, the struggles that he went through, his contribution, it must ignite that fire within our heart of a mission, right? We are all part of a mission. We cannot just be takers, we have to be givers. As I say, no, Lena Bank and Dena Bank. We all are Lena Bank for so many years. Now we have to enter Dena Bank. We want to give back. We want to give back to the mission. As they say, if you have nothing in your life to live for, you have nothing to die for. So this is, these are the type of personalities whom we need to send. Who is more worthy of surrender than such people? Who only history could, they are like these lines in stone. So we take part one tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.